Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to a brand new video where today we're going to be racing at Jeddah for round 5 of this My Team career mode. So as always, let's head right into it. Sadly, we do not have many major upgrades for this race weekend. However, as you can see, the development expansion for our powertrain is finally set into place. It did take us, well, already this is the 5th part, but finally it is finished. I think we will have quite a lot of parts ready for developments in Miami, which is going to be a huge relief. Anyways, heading right into driver selection, we're going to be choosing, I think we're going to be choosing Luke. No, never mind. We're going to be choosing Oliver Gutte for this race weekend. As always, we skip practice. We're going to be heading right into short qualifying here at Saudi Arabia.
Welcome to the Jeddah Corniche, one of the fastest circuits on the calendar. But let's see who will be fastest of them all. We're about to set the grid for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Yes, it's qualifying.
Heading into qualifying, I'm going to see how we're going to measure up into the AI. So we're going to start for our first lap here in qualifying, trying to maximize, of course, our lap. Heading into third gear, just charging the car right into the first few couple of corners, throwing the car in. Can we get a good exit? More or less, we are able to power him down into fourth gear here, into turn 4, as close as we can to the wall. Continuing up into sixth gear, trying to really get as close as we can to the walls to maximize our exits. As you can see, we're going to be exiting the line. 2 green sectors, of course, it is our first lap. Look at this, right up to the line, as close as we can. It is a 1:32.65. We are 1.8 seconds behind the cars ahead, so we will now have one more lap, here outside Arabia. However, as we're pretty much starting off in the final corner, we're going to be racing Norris. Pretty much, he's on provisional pole right now, but we're racing Norris. We're going to overtake him before turn 1. We're going to completely cut across him, as you can see, down into third. He's going to be stuck behind us in our dirt here. I hope it doesn't impede us too much. I don't really care if we impede him. I just hope there aren't many mistakes. Anyways, here exiting the long left-hander, he's gonna go for a move here for some reason on the qualifying lap down the inside. We're gonna hit him. He's gonna lose his front wing, and we're gonna lose some time. We're down by 1/10 of a second. However, I did save a bit more battery than I did on the previous lap. As you can see, I'm already 2/10 up, so very huge sigh of relief here. Going down into fifth gear. As you can see, Lando Norris is out of the session. Maybe hit it to the wall due to his damage. Anyways, here, still gaining time. 4/10 of a second, 5/10 of a second. Going into the final corner, 0% battery. But still, you can see more than a second gain here into the final corner. Can we gain some more time? We're really trying to get a nice, smooth exit. Yes, we can. 1.3 seconds now. 1.4 seconds faster even. Really huge improvement, even with the collision. However, sadly, it is still only good enough for P24 here at the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. I think, I'm not sure. I think even if we hadn't collided into
So here
Norris, I
we
think we
are
still would
then,
have been
welcoming you
P24.
today to one
Anyways,
of
we're
the
going to be heading
jewels of
right
the Arab
into the
world,
race.
Jeddah. One of the biggest cities in Saudi Arabia, second only to Riyadh, gateway to Mecca, and one of the biggest ports in the region. And now, host to the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix. So let's take a look at the topographical map of the Jeddah Street Circuit. As you can see, a number of challenging corners for the drivers to master here. We'll see just how much the teams have benefited from their time spent in practice this weekend. And like many street circuits, this track has the potential to punish drivers that get it wrong. Let's hope we avoid any safety cars today. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Lando Norris will lead us away from pole position. And starting next to them is George Russell. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Albon, Max Verstappen, and Leclerc. Hadjar, Piastri, Colapinto, and Pierre Gasly. Sainz, Antonelli, Ollie Behrman, and Bortoletto. Perez, Ocon, Fernando Alonso, and Lance Stroll. Lindblad, Lawson, Bottas, Hulkenberg, Browning, and Oliver Goethe rounds off the grid. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. And alongside me today, a man who I'm always pleased to see join me in the commentary box, Anthony Davidson. Look, we know it's not where you start, it's where you finish, but let's talk about the start now. What's there to help the drivers get away well?
Big pressure at the start of the race, Crofty, for all of them up and down the grid, no matter where you are. But the drivers these days, they practice, practice and practice. They have rigs with them at the circuit where they can sit down with the actual steering wheel from the real car. And they've got lights that they react to. The clutch paddle is tailored around the driver's hands, around their fingers, so they can have optimum position before they start. So there's so much thought and effort that goes into getting these cars off the line.
If we don't want to be stuck near the back for most of the race, you're going to need to push early on. Good luck.
Heading to the race, of course, the game does want me to do a one-stop, going from the hard to the mediums. Sadly, I do think it'll probably be a two-stop. The tire wear here at Jeddah is incredibly high. Problem is, it's 25 laps, so it's quite a short. But sadly, I think just in terms of how it is, it might end up being a one-stop. Not a one-stop, sorry, a two-stop. Even though, as I said, it's kind of weird because 25 laps, hard medium, so you're going to be doing a pit-stop like every 8 to 9 laps. So it's kind of annoying for a one-stop, annoying for a two-stop as well. We will be trying the one-stop, probably going to be needed to go on to two-stop, however. As we line up on the grid here from the formation at P24, and it's lights out, and away we go for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Horrible getaway from ourselves. The field is absolutely just pulling away here. Maybe for the better, I do not want to get any damage into turn 1. As you can see, cars are going 4 wide ahead of us. I'm going to try and go the long way around the outside of my teammate, and Nico Hulkenberg. We're all on the hard compound tires, all 3 of us. We're going to make it work on Nico Hulkenberg. Can we make it work on our teammate? Yes, we can. We are up into P22. Now we're right behind Bottas. I'm going to try and make as many gains as I can here on the first lap, since I do know my tire wear is probably going to be worse than the AI's. So I'm probably going to end up maybe being able to push for a few laps and then having to defend my position. As the fuel's getting bogged up here, I think maybe someone made a mistake, or maybe just everyone's slow. As we're going to overtake Bottas for P21, we're going to go down the inside of Esteban Ocon. Can we make it stick side by side here? What amazing traction from the Haas car and the Frenchman. However, we're going to burn our battery, and we are up into P20 here, and we're going to go around the outside, finally pull the move off. And we're now up into P20, right behind the rookie of Arvid Lindblad. Also need to make sure to not burn too much of my battery, especially in Saudi Arabia. It's a very hard track to save your battery. It's kind of like what Monaco was before the F1 26 regulation, like on old F1 games, where it would be very easy to burn your battery, but very, very hard to save it. And I feel like that's what Jeddah is on this game cycle. As you can see, already down to 20%. I really, at this point, kind of knew I was cooked, because I didn't really know where to save. As this corner, the last corner, pretty much the only hard braking, and turn 1, of course, is the only hard braking zone on the entire track, as we all overtake Liam Lawson for
Okay, so overtake mode active. We'll get some extra power from the hybrid system now.
He's going to try and get us back here. We're going to really cover off the outside line. As you can see, fighting up ahead. That's the Cadillac of Sergio Perez fighting with the Audi of what should be Bortoleto. Really holding the field up, making us a huge favor. As our car, of course, we haven't really had many upgrades at this point. So we're pretty much quite a long ways back from the field in terms of pace. As now lap 2, by the end of lap 2, we are right behind Arvid Lindblad. As you can see, look at how big the field is. Look at the train, absolutely massive train here. Right, again, no battery from ourselves sadly, so we're going to get overtaken by Liam Lawson and Esteban Ocon. However, going into the final corner, we're going to try and go for a move on 3 cars into the span of 1 corner. Sadly, it's not going to work. We were able to overtake Ocon. Will we be able to make a mistake on Liam Lawson? No, we're not. As we run out of battery yet again, and we're down into P21. P22 even, as we get overtaken by 4 cars in the span of what is pretty much 2 straights and a corner. Now, pretty much right back to where we were at the start of lap 1, sadly. Nothing much we can do about it. As you can see again, 0% battery. We are down to P23 even. However, we're going to go for a pretty nice move on Lance Stroll into the final corner. He is on the stock compound tires. I'm really surprised, since as I was saying, the tire wear on Saudi Arabia is incredibly bad. Nonetheless, again, 0% battery. even with maybe a slight tire advantage on our part, we're not going to be able to make it stick. However, I'm going to completely outbrake myself here, sadly. I'm going to go wide, get our first warning of the race, fall back down to P22, and after what was such a good Bahrain Grand Prix last weekend, Minozzi Motorsports, we find ourselves in P23 and P24, as now Lance Stroll, evidently, he's just really losing pace. On the soft compound tires, looking for a move here,
Okay,
we're
good
able to
work.
make it
Great
stick
pass.
going into Sector 3, and that is Minozzi Motorsports up at the P22 and P23, as our teammate is also able to get past Lance Stroll. Here on lap 5, following Oliver Behrman, he's looking for a move on Arvid Lindblad. Can he make it stick around the outside? He's also going to try and go around the outside of Bortoleto. What a move by the young driver. Can he make it stick here? Of course, he burned his battery down the back straight. Will he be able to retain the move here? As now Bortoleto is fighting Arvid Lindblad. Look at this, they're catching up to Oliver Behrman. They're going to go 3 wide into turn 1. As Oliver Behrman is going to lose out to Arvid Lindblad. However, he's going to be able to overtake Bortoleto going into turn 4. So, Oliver Behrman was able to make up one move, and he is up into what was P14, I think. As now on board with ourselves yet again going into turn 4. Lap 6. I did expect, to be honest, I was expecting this to have a bit more race pace. I am quite disappointed. As we're still bogged down in P22, we are right behind Fernando Alonso with, as our teammate trails us, and Lance Stroll evidently in last place. However, we have a beautiful run on Alonso exiting the corners. However, we're not quite close enough. We are right behind him. Not close enough, as we're now going to need to save the P22. I'm going to try and save my battery, as you can see. Still very, very hard, as you can see, even though I'm not burning any. I went from 35% to 20% here. Nonetheless, up to 40% battery. I'm going to burn all of it here, maybe a mistake, as of course there's yet another long straight after this one. We're going to overtake Fernando Alonso. I'm not going to be able to defend going into second straight. However, here, on lap 8, Max Verstappen is in a sandwich of the McLaren cars, much like what all of the 2025 season here. He's going to go around the outside of the reigning world champion. Piastri is also going to go around the outside of his teammates. Lando Norris is going to fall down into P4. Oliver Behrman lost one position here, as you guys saw on the 2 laps ago, because he burned too much battery on the back straight. Will Max Verstappen have enough battery to defend his position here, going into turn 1? No, he will not. Again, 3 wide he goes with the McLarens. He's going to fall back all the way down to P4. He's pretty much going to lose all of his advantage. Oscar Piastri is going to go from P3 to P2. Nice move from the Australian as he's up into P2, and Max Verstappen sadly not going to make up any positions, and he's back down into P4. Now on board with ourselves here on lap 9. As you can see, some cars have dived into the pit. Lap 15. However, my tires were starting to go. I knew to be able to make the strategy, one-stop strategy work, I think I probably would have had to go on lap 13, maybe lap 14, to be able to do 11 laps on the mediums. Sadly, at this point, I think I was feeling that I would probably not be able to do 5 more laps on this hard compound tire. As here, lap 11, we're going to get overtaken by Pierre Gasly. We're down to P14. He has an entire pit stop ahead of us. As you can see, we're pretty much sliding in the corner. Really, really struggling. So here, lap 11, I'm decided to go into the pits here for first of 2 pit stops here, barely hitting the wall. I was very, very lucky to escape a 10-second penalty. As I'm checking the wall behind me, pretty much just wondering how we were able to pretty much not retire by pretty much a millimeter. As we're not going to change our tires here. We're going to go on to medium compound tires. Very nice pit stop, 2.5 seconds. Good job from the boys as we're now all the way back down to P24. We have been overtaken by Lance Stroll. He is also on the medium compound tire. I don't know what Aston Martin are cooking. I think he's probably going to end the race on the hard compound tire, as it is now our job to try and catch up to the cars ahead. As you can see, quite a long ways away from me and Lance Stroll, or Lance Stroll and I, are quite far from Fernando Alonso, as you can see on the track map. So lost a lot of time with the overcut. As you guys know, the undercut is very, very powerful on this game, especially since you can save so much battery. So we're now trailing Lance Stroll. I really want to get past him because I can pretty much do the most I can on the medium compound tires here to not lose too much time. Slightly going wide. We have a lot of battery from our pit stop. 55%. I'm going to burn quite all of it again. I don't want to go too much too hard. However, it is a slam dunk maneuver on Lance Stroll. And we're up into P20. We have to make sure there. Now, pretty much halfway through the race. Lap 15 here. Looking to overtake Nico Fulton. We are 2 seconds clear of Lance Stroll by the looks of it, so we are pulling away from Lance Stroll. However, we are not catching the cars ahead. Looking up, as you can see, our teammate is in P20. Tyler, actually, Tyler was really good on these mediums. If anything, that was a crazy stutter. We probably could have done a longer stint on the mediums than on the hards. Like the Tyler was so much better on the mediums. So at this point, I was really bummed because I knew I would have been able to do 10 more laps on the mediums. But I knew if I had pretty much extended my hard tires up to lap 12, lap 15, I definitely
The car ahead's coming to fit the mediums. Car ahead now running medium tyres.
My tire strategy. However, I'm going to make the most of it work. Since I know there is one more pit stop, there was no point in extending since trying to do an equal stint between tires. So I think we're going to go into pits here on lap 18 to do a 7 lap each medium tire strategy. Here, getting a green sector 1, we do have some good pace here as we're up into P20.
The car
cars have
behind
made
you's
a
just
pit
come in
stop,
for the hard tyres. Car behind.
and Sergio Perez on the hard compound tires. As we're going to get overtaken by Liam Lawson into the final corner. We are going to be boxing this lap, of course, for another set of mediums, since the pack has already caught up to us. No point in fighting and losing time, so we're going to be going into the pit stop for what is hopefully going to be our second and last pit stop of the Grand Prix, as there are going to be 7 laps left after we cross the line. Hopefully, maybe get a good pit stop from the boys. I know there's a 50-50 chance of getting a good or a bad pit stop. We're going to change our tires.
We had an issue attaching the right rear wheel. I know it's not ideal.
Alright, that was an issue. We attaching the rear right. That's going to be 2 seconds off our race. We're going to get overtaken by Lance Stroll all the way down into last place. As I predicted, Aston Martin with a soft, medium, hard tire strategy. Interesting choice. However, I suppose it has worked out since Lance Stroll is ahead of us. Our teammates, the AI, pretty much on all the F1 games, they used to have such bad tire strategies. But for once, the AI teammate has a better strategy than the actual driver, which is quite disappointing as he is not going to be on a one-stop. However, now, I pretty much knew that this race is, well, we were going to catch cars ahead. This was now a fight between Lance Stroll and myself to see who is not going to finish in last. Who is going to not take the disastrous finish of finishing in all the way down to P24. As you guys know, with the joining of Cadillac and ourselves, it is now 24-car grid. Looking again like what we did on our last tire stint, trying to overtake Lance Stroll as quickly as we can. The next car is more than 20 seconds ahead. I think it's 13 seconds ahead. The car, the Aston Martin of Fernando Alonso. So no hope in actually being able to salvage this race. So we have 44% battery. We're going to enable straight line mode. As you can see, Lance Stroll is flashing. I'm running out of battery. I'm going to save mine as well. I'm going to look for a move going into turn 1. I can hopefully maybe just make a nice gap between myself and Lance Stroll in the S's, not the S's, but the twists and turns of Sector 1. We're going to go on a slam dunk on a maneuver on Lance Stroll, and we're up into P23 here. Nothing to complain about. It was a very nice move, no need to stress. He pretty much let it go. I think, as you guys saw, he pretty much turned off his battery mid-straight. He knew there was no point in fighting, especially since this is the first spec of Aston Martin car. Is pretty much the worst it can get. As we climb, we're going to ride Burt with a 3-second time penalty. No point in getting bogged down over it, as I knew I was going to finish at P24 or P23. As you can see now, yellow flags. Fernando Alonso is out of this race. Mechanical DNF. However, as you guys can see, there's another yellow flag here. There's a Ferrari going slow on the track map. 2 yellow flags. Charles Leclerc is also out of the session. What is going on? It's going to be a safety car. Safety car with what is going to be pretty much 4 laps left for the race leaders. Very, very late safety car in this race, as we're now going to be on board with Charles Leclerc. Of course, we know Fernando Alonso retired from an engine failure. What happened to Charles Leclerc? As you can see, he's going slow. He's going to go wide. And Charles Leclerc is going to be the second DNF of this race, right after Alonso, actually. And sadly, just like his teammate in Australia, Charles Leclerc, Ferrari power unit has given up on him, and he will need to retire the race with 5 laps left. Very, very unforgiving, especially since he was so high up the order. Sadly, that is F1. Aaron Nick, I think he was in P4, P5, so it was going to be a very good points score for him. Debating now, I'm debating. I thought, to be honest, I think that the safety car might bunch us up. So I'm going to be going on to our qualifying softs here, seeing if we can do something just for the memes, especially with the 3-second time penalty. I pretty much knew I was probably going to finish in last place. So, we're not going to be going in this current pit stop this race.
Okay, off we go, back into the race.
Back
Perfect
out
job on the turn
onto
in
the
there,
track
mate. Looks
here.
like a nice
We are
stop time. We're happy
quite
with
a
that
long
one.
ways away from Lance Stroll, actually. As you can see, he's already on like the third corner. However, safety car is done in this lap, lap 23. As you can see, the front runners have been bunched up. Sadly, we are not part of the front runners. We are so far behind them. As you can see, they're starting the lap, and we're about to start sector 2. So, very far. However, we had lots of pace on the soft compound tires, especially the Strolls on the old hard compound tires. So we're going to overtake him here, going on to lap 24 into turn 4. As you can see, he's pretty much going to let us go. I'm going to try and build a 3-second gap. As I was saying, no need to stress. We are probably going to finish in lap 2 regardless. However, here, incredible action here on lap 25. George Russell is going to be fighting Oscar Piastri for P1. Will he be able to close it in time? No, he will not. Lando Norris is going to go for the move on George Russell. It's going to make a stick. Yes, right before the corner. He's going to go up into P22. It's going to be a 1-2 finish for the McLarens. Oscar Piastri, the man who won here last year, is going to round the final corner. He's going to win the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. And George Russell is going to overtake Lando Norris right before the start-finish line as Lando Norris' battery is pretty much going to run out. What a sequence of corners. And it's not a 1-2 for McLaren. It's going to be a 1-3 finish. Absolute scenes here on the final lap of the Grand Prix. As for ourselves, the final lap was not so nice. As we're going to make a mistake, ride the curb again. And we're going to completely lose our front right section of the front wing. I think we were actually 3 seconds ahead of Lance Stroll. However, no need to use a flashback or worry, as I knew I was going to finish it in 22. So after quite a slow lap, with the wing damage, after quite a disastrous round, no points scored, we're going to cross the line and finish in P22. And Marcus is asking us to bring the car back into the paddock. Very hard weekend for us. I do hope that Miami is going to be better next. Of course, that is the next race. However, that is not an issue for today.
Day for Oscar Piastri as he takes the checkered flag and wins.
You always look back at a race like this and think, if I'd just made that mistake there or locked up here, there would have been contact. And every one of those overtakes is a moment where you have to absolutely nail it, perfect it, and that's exactly what they're able to do today. Great stuff indeed.
Well, I don't know about you, but I've absolutely loved watching that action today, and I'm sure these three have loved taking part. Here come our podium
Incredible
finishers.
race from Oscar Piastri. After a disastrous round 4 in Bahrain, he's going to be able to make up the gap. He wins here at Saudi Arabia, followed by George Russell and Lando Norris, the three title contenders, finishing on the podium. As you can see, George Russell still ahead. However, Oscar Piastri is going to catch up to very good weekend from him. As sadly, we do not get any points. We are still in 6th in the Constructors' Championship, 17 points behind Williams Racing. But as always, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.